Good morning, watch nerds, especially those of you who have subscribed and helped me reach my first 1,000 subscribers. I would suspect most of you know that Axios are a sister brand, or at least cousin brand, to Zelos, both of which are based in Singapore. They may be of similar quality, but from a personal viewpoint, I've always preferred the designs Axios have to offer. My relationship with Axios started a few years ago when I had the opportunity to buy an ironclad at a ridiculously low price. The ironclad is a spec monster which includes a Swiss movement and an anti-scratch coating. I then bought a Pathfinder, which was an excellent field watch, but I felt it just needed to be a tad smaller. I then bought, and still own, this lovely Tribune. It's a dress watch with a sort of a sporty feel. I now own this Flagship, which is a watch I've been considering for a while. It should be noted that this is a few years old now, and whilst in good condition, please expect to see a few light marks, even a light scratch. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Axios Flagship. The Flagship comes in 4 colour options, this being the teal and named as the Victory by Axios. The Victory, by the way, being one of Lord Nelson's flagships. All colour options are $499, although as of January 2024, this colour option is presently out of stock. Of course, don't forget to add the relevant duty and taxes depending on the country you reside. You may or may not consider this good value for money, but let me know what you think in the comments below after watching this video. As I've already mentioned, this one is a few years old, and I paid around about half the present asking price new. So a big thanks to eBay seller 5150 Vimes for doing me such a good deal. And this is the packaging. It's a reasonable quality cardboard box, and inside that is a 2-watch watch roll, a 1-year warranty card, and there also would have been a tropic strap. And this is my watch of the day, another diver and another fairly recent purchase. It's the Father's Horizon. As usual, let's have a look at the dimensions. The case size is 39.5mm, although the bezel is slightly larger, making it 40mm. The lug width is 20mm and the lug to lug is 46.5mm. And the depth, which includes a top hat sapphire crystal with AR coating, albeit not with enough AR coating, is about 13mm. Now once adjusted to fit my 17-centimetre wrist, it weighs in at about 140 grams. In my opinion, this is a great set of dimensions, but this watch does wear a tad smaller. Inside the heart of the watch is the Miyota 9015 high-beat automatic movement, a calibre generally considered reliable, robust and very accurate if regulated correctly. It ticks away at 28,800 beats per hour, it hacks, hand winds, it's got a power reserve of about 41 hours. The rotor only winds the movement when turning one way, so it can be a little bit noisy when spinning freely the other. To be honest though, this is something I've never noticed when it's on the wrist, and I've had a good relationship with this movement over the years. In real life, it's only gaining 2 seconds per day, which is pretty impressive, but let's have a look what the time grapher thinks of it. This is dial up, it's got a good amplitude, plus 5 seconds a day. The beat error is a little bit on the high side, but all in all pretty good. The 5.5mm crown is signed and screws down to aid its 200 metres of water resistance. It's nicely knurled, operates the movement perfectly, and whilst the engagement when screwing in is good, it's not buttery smooth. To be honest though, I would have liked it to have been a little bit larger. The case is very nice, and I mean very nice. The upper part of the lugs is satin brushed, then leads down to a polished transition. The sides are vertically brushed, but I have to be honest and say I always prefer horizontal brushing. As you can see, it's nicely tiered, meaning we don't get any slab sides. Now a combination of fairly short lug to lug and a nice shaping means this conforms beautifully to the wrist. The screw down case back has an oil pressed image of a ship and some basic information engraved around the sides. This is my favourite type of case back, as I always feel etching gets a little bit grubby, and an exhibition case back, well, I just don't think it's right on a diver. The bezel is brilliant. It's got this lovely grey lume sapphire insert which I believe matches the dial really well, along with the fact it's marginally larger than the case and it's got an excellent coin-edge grip. Makes operation a piece of cake. The 120 click action in my opinion is pretty spot on. The resistance is perfect and it's nice and notchy. That said, bezel actions are quite subjective. There's no bounce, there's no backplay, and it all lines up well, apart from the fact the 4, 5 and 6 are slightly out. Now for a little listen. There really isn't anything to dislike about this dial, particularly the stunning fume teal background. There is the Axios logo below the 12 o'clock, which I'm a fan of by the way, and above the 6 o'clock it reads Flagship, and the water resistance is printed in red to match the tip of the second hand and the triangle on the bezel. The date window is placed above the 6 o'clock. It's framed and it's colour matched, which is a nice touch. The stick hands and applied indices are full of C3 X1 lume, as well as there being a little bit of BGW9 lume applied to a few of the markers. It's a very strong lume, and although it may not quite keep up with our Helm Komodo, it's not far behind. Anyway, let's have a look at that lume. It would originally have come with an additional nice quality tropic strap, but somewhere along the way it either got lost or it's been used. As it happens, I wouldn't have used it anyway. Although not as highly spec'd as its cousin the Ironclad, I prefer the bracelet. It's a very well made beads of rice and tapers down from 20mm to 18mm, then back up to 20mm for the clasp. Needless to say, it's got solid endings, but unfortunately no quick release spring bars, which is a shame. Adjustment is made using screw pins, which I think is always a bit of a bonus. All in all, it's a very nice looking and very comfortable bracelet. The signed and brushed clasp, which I rebrushed by the way, is one you may have seen many times. It's fully milled. It's got 6 micro adjustments, double pushers and a flip lock. Other than having an on the fly adjust, it's probably about as good as you can expect. Well, what do I think of the Axios Flagship? It's a watch I've been looking at for a while. In actual fact, I narrowly missed out on an eBay auction a few months ago. As it happens, it all turned out for the best, so I think this is the nicest colour option. To be honest, my only minor complaints are the vertically brushed sides, the slightly misaligned bezel at 4, 5 and 6, and a relatively small crown, but I think that's just me nitpicking to be honest. This is a very nicely made watch and it's got a very good spec and fantastic aesthetics, and I feel pretty sure anybody who decides to buy one of these is going to be very happy. To be honest, I'm a little bit smitten with this one. So that brings me to the end of this review, so if you've enjoyed it please click on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day.